What's going on over on Elite Sports? Back with another video, and in this video I wanted to talk about the game yesterday between the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders. I wanted to do this video today, kind of a day after, when I kind of got to really process it. I watched, the majority of the game again, and, kind of took a few things from it, and I don't know how to feel after a tie. It is tough. It's a 2020 tie. It almost feels like a loss, especially because the Giants had the lead late in this football game. So is it a loss? Essentially, no. It's almost, you could look at it as a win or a loss, or like the game didn't even happen. I'm going to go with saying it's like the game didn't even happen. And there's a lot to break down here in this football game. But let's start off with the box score. On the Washington side of things, Taylor Heinicke threw it 41 times, completed it 27 times for 275, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 5 times. Those sacks, of course, one by Dexter Lawrence, one by Kayvon, one by Jihad Ward, one by Justin Ellis, and a strip sack fumble by Azeez Ojulari. That was later recovered by Oshane Ximines. Oshane Ximines was decent. He was all right in this game. And then, of course, Washington was able to run it well. Brian Robinson, 21 carries for 96 yards. Gibson was good. Nine rushes for 39 yards. And then, of course, Curtis Samuel had 3 rushes for 23 yards. McLaurin through the air was great. 8 catches for 105 and a touchdown. Jahan Dotson, he's a good young wide receiver, of course, out of Penn State. Good friends with Saquon Barkley. They exchanged jerseys after the contest, but he had that big time play, a 28-yard touchdown. The pass was in itself was only 7 yards, and then after the catch was 21 yards. So big time gain for Jihad Dotson. He made a man miss. I believe it was Nick McLeod. It was a brutal effort on the tackle, and that was that. But the Giants, I think the biggest thing here was that right out of the gate, the first quarter, they were sloppy. They really were. They really didn't do much well in the first quarter at all. They had a little bit of a good drive going on. I believe that was the first drive of this football game, and Jones turned it over. So it was a tough play. Jamin Davis, of course, recovered that fumble. But the Giants had a really sloppy and bad first quarter. But outside of that 10-0 first quarter, the Giants outscored the Commanders 20-10 the rest of the football game. Of course, with the Barkley touchdown, great run for Saquon. Jones was great in this game, 25 for 31 with 200 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 4 times, 2 by Daron Payne. Mark Lewinsky wasn't very good here in this game, although, in the pass protection. But the run blocking, he is pretty good, I do have to say. But Jones also had 12 rushes for 71 yards. And the people that are saying Jones, they're giving Jones slander. What more do you want the guy to do? He was 25 for 31. 4 of those incompletions were on deep 50-50 balls. 1 was a drop by Slayton. Slayton was good in this game outside that drop. That had he caught that pass, we probably would have won the football game. But Slayton had 6 catches for 90 yards. Hodgins was good. He caught his first touchdown pass, 5 catches for 44 yards. Bellinger was good in his return, 5 catches for 24. Richie James, he kind of screwed it up in the overtime where he ran into Saquon Barkley. Miscommunication. I blame that on Richie James because he didn't know where he was going, right? We got Saquon going a little bit in the passing game with 5 catches. He had 18 yards. And then, of course, Saquon's 18 rushes for 63 yards. And although he only had 3.5 per carry, he had a few times where he was just blown up in the backfield. But you can't really blame him. When the line just gets through like that, and the D line gets through the offensive line like that, and when you're playing such a good defensive front like you were against Washington, it's tough to run on. But defensively, the Giants were great. Julian Love was a tackling machine. He had 11 tackles here in this football game. Nick McLeod, he had 6 tackles, but he wasn't great. He missed a few. Dexter Lawrence was huge as usual. Micah McFadden, I thought, was decent out there. He also forced a fumble out there, but it was recovered, unfortunately, by Washington. Fabian Moreau had a couple penalties, really questionable calls. I think one of them on McLaurin where it could have went against McLaurin. Just some bad calls all around through this football game. And then one of the second deep ball, the play right after Darius Slayton dropped that bomb from Jones, that could have been pass interference. He was pushed out of bounds and away from the ball. So few questionable calls, but at the end of the day, it's not that's not what it came down to here. Jamie Gillen, actually, he was decent. He had 7 punts and he pinned Washington inside their own 30 3 times. So that's not bad. He had a long of 59 and he had an average of 47. And then on to Graham Gano. I hear people saying, he's horrible. He had to hit that field goal. That's a long field goal. With the wind a factor, 58 yards is long. It's a long kick. And if he were 55 yards away, the Giants probably win that football game. It was on target. It was just a little bit short. But, overall, all around, I thought it was a good game by the Giants. And looking at the playoff picture now where we currently stand, if we lose to the Eagles, we'll be 7-5-1, as is Washington, going into that flexed game that I also want to talk about, Sunday Night Football, December 18th. Washington has the bye, and then the Sunday Night Football against us. So if I had to guess, sneak peek for the preview and prediction video, I think the Giants will lose to the Eagles, so I think that game will be huge. Going in, we'll be tied with them going into their place. The Seahawks are 7-5. They play the Panthers coming up, so expect the Seahawks to be 8-5, and then whoever would end up, losing that other game, they would probably be out of a playoff spot. Although there is a bit of light for the Seahawks here. For us, looking at the Seahawks schedule, I really only see at max 2 more wins in that schedule. Maybe 3, if I'm predicting, but I don't pick them to win over the Niners or the Chiefs. I don't really pick them to win over the Jets. And the last week of the year, I don't know. I mean, the Rams played them pretty good, so that'll be a good matchup. But the Giants do currently sit second in that wild card, and if the season were to end today, we'd be taking on the San Francisco 49ers without Jimmy Garoppolo, who have won 5 in a row. They're 5-0 in their last 5. It'll be a great end of the season. It'll be really good. But the Giants have to win that Sunday Night Football game. It was flexed. I'm really looking forward to it. That's going to be the game of the year. That's going to be the biggest game the Giants have played in the past 7 years. So a huge game. Looking forward to it. The Giants got flexed in, but overall, my take from this game is it's like the game didn't even happen, right? The Giants, got to go out and win the next one against Washington. And if we can do that, we'll have the tiebreaker with them as well. So that'll be huge. I really think that if the Giants can win that football game, we're going to the playoffs. And as for Washington, if they win it, does that mean we're out? No, because Seattle, could still drop it. But I think whoever wins that game will be, in the playoffs. But I actually think that all 4 NFC's teams will be in because of that tough Seahawks schedule. But guys, that was all I got in this video. You guys let me know down in the comments section your thoughts on the Giants 2020 tie against the Washington Commanders. Let me know all that good stuff down in the comment section. I'm looking forward to that Sunday Night Football game. But first, we got the Eagles. You guys let me know all that good stuff down in the comment section. As always, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys new. See you guys all in the next video. And as always, let's go Giants.